belts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness.
By Landry, Ariza dropped down. Kobe! Oh! Up high! Down hard! Kobe Bryant!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Kawhi aggressive to the rack.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024-25 season. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video for all things LA basketball and NBA and LA sports. And you can follow your boy on social media at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. Live from Los Angeles, as always. Let me know if there's a lag, because I restarted my computer. Been trying to make sure there's no lags recently and that the connection's all good, because my Wi-Fi is really good, but maybe my computer's in need of a fixing. But yeah, by the way, if you're wondering, I haven't added anything for the Dodgers World Series run this year. Maybe we'll make an alternate intro for the playoffs. But, oh, wow, it says delayed audio. Okay, that means that my computer might need a little bit of a fixing, but we'll work on that over whatever, Christmas. We got two games to talk about tonight. Both LA teams in action, the Clippers and the Grizzlies, and then the Lakers and the Pistons. And it's the Clipper fans' favorite kind of night, where the Clippers win, the Lakers don't win. And I'm on a Mac, by the way, for those wondering. But let's talk about Clippers Grizzlies first. In my opinion, our best win of the season. On the road against the team that's top 3 in the West, the only team that's top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating, and we come out and get a resilient win. You know, and it's my main takeaway is, like, when you're a team that plays defense every single night, you're going to be able to stay in games. That's just what the value of defense is. You know, you're not always going to have the best shooting game. In our case, we just don't have the best offense. You know, we're missing our best player. But we've been able to stay in games with our defense because we have a bunch of guys that want to guard, but not just a bunch of guys that want to guard, a bunch of guys that consistently play hard, you know, and that's something these days, especially, that's harder to find. But to start the game, we had Zoo on Zach Edey, of course, Chris Dunn on John Morant, Derrick Jones Jr. on Desmond Bane. James Harden was guarding Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jalen Wells. Norman Powell was switching off with him, essentially. And then on their side, Ja was guarding Chris Dunn. Jalen Wells was guarding Harden. He did a very good job the first 3 quarters, I might add. He's a good player, Jalen Wells. Zach Edey on Ivica Zubac, Desmond Bane on Norman Powell, and Jaren Jackson Jr. on Derrick Jones Jr. Let me know if the audio is okay, by the way. I know for the people that are listening on audio, it's no problem, but YouTube people, let me know how the audio is. I think it should be fine. But anyway, so to begin the game, we had Zoo and drop coverage, but this is the thing about Memphis this year. They're playing this interesting style, and Ben Taylor, Thinking Basketball, did a video on it, and it's just basically they're not setting as many on-ball screens. They're just trying to get to the paint, moving without the basketball, flashing open space, and trying to just pass and move, essentially like a motion offense. You know what I'm saying? With just less on-ball screens. And that's different from today's NBA that's so spread pick and roll based. So I enjoy that. But I actually think that the way that they play is actually better for us because we have good one-on-one defenders and we have a great rim protector behind him. And our rotations are pretty good. Like, we just have great defenders. So pick and rolls in the modern NBA are just hard to guard. That's why everybody runs spread pick and roll so much. So I think going up against our really tough one-on-one defense doesn't get the most out of that Memphis matchup against us, because for me, and it's funny because I'm Mr. Anti-pick and roll pro motion, and I'm saying that it was tougher for us to guard pick and rolls. I mean, with Ja over the years, we struggled massively at times in Memphis guarding pick and rolls with him. Granted, we didn't have Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn, but still, John Morant and pick and roll is John Morant and pick and roll. The thing that doesn't convince me about Ja, though, is that we can still go under the screen with him. and his jumper just doesn't convince me. He's shooting 31% from three, and we'll live with that all day long. Okay, I see it says audio is cool. Thank you guys. But yeah, the video being a little behind. And you guys are saying it's behind relative to like my lives in the past, or is it always like this? So if it's always like this, then that just maybe a StreamYard live thing. But maybe I gotta, my computer's getting hot again these days. And for the audio people, I apologize that I keep saying it. It's just that I run a live show. But anyway, James Harden in the beginning of the game was getting top blocked, meaning that they were denying him the ball and giving him the basket. Typically, when you guard somebody in basketball, you're in between them and the basket. But they were just Jalen Wells was just top blocking the shit out of him. And it took 5 minutes around approximately until Harden actually tried to back cut and dive, and he's got his first bucket of the game on it, where he caught the ball on the move, going towards the basket, and then took the little step back mid range. But it's like, I was like, dude, are you going to back cut or what? But the guy who I thought on the Clippers that actually didn't end up getting off to a good start in the first quarter was Derrick Jones Jr., and he ended up having a great game, but fell for a Desmond Bane pump fake that's allowed a three, got blown by, was missing a bunch of shots. And then Norman Powell was 1 for 5 to begin the game, and I thought some of them were a little bit ill-advised, a little bit rushed. But, it's a battle between two good defensive teams. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be very easy to score. And Jaren Jackson Jr., he was really going at Mo Bamba. Really going at Mo Bamba. Shout out to the super chat. Jaw is a fake gangster, and Memphis a fluke playing team. Well, wow, okay. Interesting. Well, appreciate the super chat, as always. Harden had 9 points in that first quarter, but Jaren Jackson Jr., he was really going at Mo Bamba. Like, it was bad. We were just getting around him very easily. So, I don't know. I'm going to have a little bit more to say about Mo Bamba in the live, but I said it before we got him, or not before we got him, when we got him on Locked On. I've still not seen Mo Bamba be a good NBA player. Respectfully. He's more famous for Sheck West's song about him now than his actual basketball. He was a top 10 pick. He's not particularly great at anything. You know what I'm saying? He's not particularly great at anything. So you're starting to see that. Now, first quarter, as I said, James Harden had 9 points. We were outscored 30-28 after one, but all things considered, I thought it was a pretty solid quarter. We just didn't shoot well, 36% from the field. We actually shot better from three than the field in the first, 37.5%. Second quarter. Now, Kevin Porter Jr., he actually had a pretty decent game to me. Before he had his final stretch where I was like, okay, get him out of the game. Let's get Chris Dunn back in. He had a pretty good game. He was scoring the basketball. He was getting in the mid-range, keeping defenders in jail, just getting to his bag. And he's also been getting better shooting the three ball. They showed a stat that in his last 15 games, last six games, he's averaging 15 points on 41% from three. So he's starting to shoot better. And I think I've been harsh on him when he doesn't play well because, his history, and I don't love the way he plays a ball stopper, but I got to be fair. And I think that without him, obviously, we don't know if Bones would do better or not. There's no guarantee that he would, though. And just given the fact that we have played Kevin Porter Jr., he's been a part of us staying afloat and being as good as we are. You know what I'm saying? Because James Harden, he needs to be relieved a little bit in terms of the ball in his hands. And I think Kevin's done a pretty good job of that. Speaking of good jobs, Nico Batum tonight, so good on both ends of the floor, but mainly the defensive side. His hands, he just is able to get his hands on the ball all the time, get deflections, get strips. Such a smart player. So great to have him back. And then I thought Zoo throughout the game, he did such a good job of defending the paint, just shutting it down, altering shots. You did not see the dominance. And remember, John Morant said he's like not going to dunk this year, even though that's a lie. When he's open, he's going to dunk. But I think he means like over people. He still had some moments where he was trying to fly and rise up over the top, but it felt like a lot of it for acrobatic layups, including that 360 layup he had in the beginning of the second half. But in totality, it just didn't feel like he was having those assaults at the rim like he usually has. Ivica Zubac, I thought, was holding it down at the basket massively. Chris Dunn, I thought he was also just doing such a good job defensively. I called him out last game in the last live for gambling too much off the ball. And in this game, I thought he had much better judgment of which passes he was trying to intercept. And, oh, man, he just is always reading what the next move is going to be from the offense, whether pass or where a guy's going to turn. Derek Jones Jr. also does a very good job of that. And it's just been so amazing having them in the passing lanes and their hands, along with James Harden, who has really good hands. We seem to just – there are some games that we come out in the first half and we're just creating interception after interception, strip after strip. Like, it's amazing to see. I'm going to say it again. In my 20 years as a Clipper fan, this is the best team we've had defensively. We just have when you look at the roster, this has the most good defensive players on it. It has the most good defensive players on it. And we have Jeff Van Gundy, who has a defensive mindset. So it's just been really great to see. We have rim protection. We have point of attack. We don't even have our best player. That's the scariest part. Because when we score more points offensively, we're going to be able to set our defense even more. And good luck scoring on our set defense when Kawhi comes back, because that's going to be one other smart, intelligent defender that he's, whether in help or on ball, is very solid. So the sky's the limit in terms of our defense and how good it could be when we get Kawhi back. Shout out to Chris Dunn, Derek Jones Jr., even James Harden and Norman Powell this season. I think they've been pretty solid for what they've needed to do. Kevin Porter Jr., I think you can criticize him a lot relative to the other guys defensively, but I still think he's been better than I expected. And honestly, I'd say mediocre. He has had bad stretches, but he's also had stretches where he's been active off the ball, gotten steals, and I think his overall effort hasn't been awful, considering what I heard from Houston. So, everybody, Nico Batum, obviously, what you're going to get from him defensively. But to me, Zubac, Chris Dunn, Derek Jones Jr., if I had to pick three guys, I think those guys stand out. Amir Coffey as well, Terrence Mann. Those guys do their thing. But, yeah, everybody's really put in some effort defensively. Now, this is where we're the weakest defensively. Backup center. The small ball stuff has been Mo Bamba, Kai Jones. We haven't really given Kai Jones a real chance. He still, when he did get the chance before Mo Bamba, I thought he had some good moments of, running the floor, crashing the offensive glass, being a vertical threat. But he also had some moments of not necessarily knowing his personnel, not knowing our coverages, being a little slow to react, having suspect hands. But he's very raw. He hasn't really gotten much of an opportunity. I said before in the preseason, is Mo Bamba really better than Kai Jones? And now 30 games into the season, Mo Bamba was hurt at the beginning of the season. And we had that whole joke like we're 5-0 with Mo Bamba. I genuinely believe that Kai Jones may deserve an opportunity. I just don't think Mo Bamba is very good. At least with Kai Jones, I think he's a great vertical threat and he plays hard. Mo Bamba, I don't see that. I don't see anything. I see a music video with Sheck West as his legacy. But you know who else? Just to give, even though I hate the Teddies, I'm going to give some credit to John Morant. I just think his defensive effort was very good. I remember doing lives. You can go back and check all of them. 2022 playoffs. John Morant was not giving great effort defensively for a superstar player in the playoffs, for any player in the playoffs. And I can't really remember 2023 and how he did defensively because I was looking at the games from a Laker perspective because it's LA Sports Channel. And by the way, Laker game tonight against the Pistons was a must talk about. We're going to talk about that later, but I don't remember Jaw's defense specifically in that postseason, but I remember he stepping up a little bit from 2022. I thought his effort was good tonight, but he's not a great one-on-one defender, and I don't think he's ever going to be a very good one-on-one defender or just a good on-ball defender. I think if his effort is high, he can be solid enough to win. But the reason I think that the Clippers would have lost this game had we lost is that we kept giving up offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities. I counted twice Chris Dunn was at fault for an offensive rebound, not blocking out, and Zubac's 3 offensive rebounds given up in the first half. And here's the crazy part. Zoo did such a great job on the offensive glass, and he still got 20 rebounds. But I'm just looking at it from I was watching the game. There were 3 times Big Zoo didn't rebound. I'm going to sing his praises later, but I'm just talking about basketball. Nothing personal. You got to mention these things because every fucking time we didn't get a rebound, they would kick it out for 3 and score every single time. So that those second chance points were kind of keeping Memphis in the game, in my opinion. But we were only down 7 despite shooting 39% in the first half. And one of the big reasons that we were is because we had 8 steals in the first half, which tied the second most that we've had so far this season and a half. Score at halftime was 58-51. James Harden had 11 points at half. Zoo had 10. Norm had 12. So the big 3 had double-figure points. Then on their side, Jaren Jackson, he had 16 points. Those awkward left-handed floaters and just weird Euro step floaters in the paint. But he was dominating Mo Bamba. And then Desmond Bane had 12 and John Morant had 11. So their big 3, so to speak, was also in double figures. They had 11 turnovers. We had 9 turnovers. So, yeah. Now, second half, Zubac started dominating the offensive glass and really just imposing his will on the likes of Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. And it was amazing to see some of those dunks he had. Activating Ivica Zubac. Let's get some Zubacs in the chat. Come on, son. As my boy Spencer says, Zubac is the key. That spin, that drop step baseline he had, dunk over, I think it was Jaren Jackson Jr. Filthy, that left-handed dunk he had. Zubac. Absolute monster in that second half. And again, his rim protection was fantastic. We could have pulled away if James Harden could hit a 3 in this game. He was 1 for 6 from deep. Just wasn't able to knock him down, but he made the one that counted. And then Derrick Jones Jr. in this third quarter. The third quarter was where it was at for us because we got outscored 30-28 in the first, 28-23 in the second. But in the third quarter, we scored 40 points. I don't know how many 40-point quarters we've had this season. I don't know if my mods are quick enough to find that. But Bones got busy. I'm challenging you on that one. How many 40-point quarters have we had this season? Because 40-32, we outscored Memphis. We had 2 huge runs. One where we went on a 17-3 run after being down 53-62. That was sparked by Derrick Jones Jr. Interceptions, good defense, getting out and running. And for a while, I think like his first 3 or 4 baskets were dunks. And man, it's just so nice to have such a great athletic, like vertical leaper. It feels like we haven't had one in so long since the great days of Lob City. But man, Derrick Jones Jr., he did get up there with the best of them. And he was starting to, really look like himself offensively and spring-wise for the first time since the injury. And he had that possession where he had the double jump. Like he jumped, I think it was Aldama or someone pump faked, and then he still got back in the play to block his 3 on the second jump. And that level of athleticism is just nuts. And I thought that with these turnovers that we were forcing, with the misses that we were forcing, we were getting out and running and getting in transition. And that's when Derrick Jones Jr. can be at his best. And I thought James Harden did a really good job of finding guys, whether it be in the half court, catching the ball 18 feet away and off-ball actions happening. We know we run some of those things where we get Norm or Derrick Jones Jr. going backdoor, get Harden catching at the elbow extended or the top of the key. And then also, of course, in the pick and roll and in transition. So I thought James, he just did a really good job of doing what he's been doing great all season, which is finding the open man. And then we went on a 10-2 run to make it 88-81. Chris Dunn getting in on the act, hitting threes, making floaters. But we had a terrible ending to the third quarter, starting with an offensive rebound on a free throw and then an offensive foul on a moving screen by Amir Coffey and second chance points. I mean, they were just keeping the Grizzlies in the game, but we were competing. And that's one thing that made this game pretty entertaining is that when both teams are competing, you got to love it. Norm had 10 points in the third quarter. Derrick Jones Jr., 3 for 3, 9 points in the third quarter. Zoo had 6 and 6 in the quarter. Chris Dunn had 5 in the quarter. James Harden was the only Clipper that played the entire quarter, and he didn't even actually make a shot, but he hit 3 free throws. And then, so yeah, Memphis, we outscored them 40-32 in that third quarter to have a 1-point lead going into the fourth. And man, the way we just kept on fighting, the second chance points, so they were going to be the death of me. 21 second chance points at one point. And, Memphis leads the league in bench points, and they're super deep. They didn't even have Marcus Smart in this game, or who else were they missing? We're missing Kawhi though, and Terrence Mann. So fuck what you're talking about with Marcus Smart. But there's another player they were missing that I forgot about. Jay Huff. He's been hooping this season. But yeah, we're missing Kawhi. So suck my dick. Anyway, okay, that was inappropriate. It's the Teddies though. So fuck them. You know what I mean? They're the ones that with those stupid fucking yellow rally towels from back in the day. Give me a break. Zach Randolph, Mike Conley, get them out of here. Man, that water was so good. Okay. By the way, I'm really surprised Zach Edey can make threes. That's impressive to me. Zach Edey. I'm happy for him because, I'm still, even though I'm a small guard, I'm still team big man in the sense I want the presence of the big man in the NBA because I'm very bitter that growing up, I think the worst big man era of all time, centers, not power forwards, late 2000s, early 2010s, because of Jokic and Embiid, but mainly Jokic because Embiid is to me in the playoffs such a disappointment. Jokic, because he's the best center since Shaq. He's really the best player in the league, and he's a center, which is amazing. So, but I was bitter as a kid that the best centers I saw growing up were Dwight Howard, old Shaq, Marc Gasol, and DeMarcus Cousins. So I'm really thankful for Jokic, but I'm pro bigs, and people were saying that Zach Edey couldn't play in the league and stuff. So I was, I'm happy to see him succeed. But the 3-ball, I didn't think he was going to have that. Now, by the way, Memphis leads the league in pace too. So play the fastest pace in the league. And, shout out to my guy, Micah. He writes for the Grizzlies, and he's, I've known him through Hoop Spaces, native Memphian. I think that's what you call them. He was saying that no team has gone into their offense like that this season. And don't be surprised. We fucking guard. And that's what makes this team likable for me. Besides the fact that they're connected, they seem to like playing with one another, but they go out there and play hard every night. When you do that on defense, it sets the tone. I'm such a defense first guy. That's how I always believe. And what the most fugazi thing was about 2-1-3 was that they were advertised as this incredible defensive team because their best two players were Kawhi and Paul George. But that's a fundamental flaw that if your best two players, you're advertising them as your best defenders. If they're going to carry your offense, they're not going to play the defense of the best guys. So it's a fundamental flaw in your team. So yeah, now we have a proper defensive-minded squad. But Zubac had that spin move in that fourth quarter. Batum hit a 3, capped off a 7-0 run. And then that's when I remember I referenced earlier that KPJ had a stretch that I was very uncomfortable with. He had some really bad moments of gambling, of just fouling unnecessarily and helping when he didn't need to. And I was like, okay, let's get Chris Dunn back in this game. And we did. And he got a tech. I thought it was kind of BS. Apparently, they called a little push on Santi Aldama. But the good news, Zubac's 6th straight double-double. He's at 12 double-doubles in his last 15 games. But Memphis we went up 103 to, I believe, 91. Then they went on a 10-0 run to make it 103-101. Or actually, it was 93-101. We were up, and then they went on a 10-0 run to take the lead. And then that's when James Harden got in his bag on Jalen Wells and showed that, look, I might still be the best player on this court. Comment section, let me know. Who's better, James Harden or John Morant in the year 2025? I feel like maybe I'm being recency biased, but yeah, it's probably recency bias. John Morant's probably better than James Harden still. But John Morant, I think you could argue that he got outplayed tonight by James Harden. Actually, I would say he did. And the big 2 floaters and the 3-ball by James were huge. And what happened next was the Grizzlies started double teaming, leaving Chris Dunn open for 2 wide open corner threes. Chris Dunn missed them both. And I believe we were up by 2 points. I think it was a tie game. And what an awesome play Ty Lue and the coaching staff drew up, where he said, you know what? If they're going to double James and they're going to, leave Chris Dunn, let's have Chris flash the middle of the floor. He's made a couple floaters this game. When a guy's charging down the middle of the floor, you have to stop the ball, right? So he catches it. You had Norm on one side, Nico on the other side for spacing, and Zubac in the dunker. So if Chris Dunn gets the ball, someone that's guarding one of those guys is going to have to come, and one of those three is going to be open. You probably don't want to leave Norm open. So it's a choice, Zubac or Batum. Eventually, he gets out to Nico, extra swing on the bounce pass, on the baseline of Zoo for the dunk. Just an amazing set drawn up by the coaching staff. And, man, how much credit can we give Ty Lue so far this season? I mentioned it in the win against Dallas, but top 2 coach in our history to me, minimum. Him and Larry Brown. Respect to Mike Dunleavy. No fucking respect to Glenn Rivers. I thank God every day he's not my coach anymore. But Ty, he's done an amazing job. Jet Van Gundy, Brian Shaw, all the coaching staff are really killing it. And I just think that, in today's NBA, because we're so obsessed with these players that don't know who we are, I don't mind, look, it's okay to be, I still say I don't mess with stands. My kid can't be a stand. No way. Or else they're going to be sent off to an adoption home. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. It's not going to happen though. If I have a kid, we're not talking about that right now. But a team fan, if you're a Denver Nuggets fan, for example, and you love Jokic and you defend him on everything, I kind of understand. If you're a Laker fan and you defend Magic Johnson and Kobe and Kareem and Shaq and these guys on everything, I understand. But we've gone too far in the sense that we just blame coaches because we don't like to blame basketball players on shit. And it's really annoying. So, yeah. We don't give coaches enough credit because when it's the players, when they do well, they get all the credit. And then when they do badly, coaches get blamed. It can never be on the players. It's coaches got to get some credit too. But, yeah, what else I got? Late game. Norman Powell hits the go-ahead jump shot off another James Harden double team. And then Josh slipped. And I think he threw it to Jaren Jackson Jr. and his foot was out of bounds. Then Norm hit the 2 free throws to seal the game. Memphis kind of took a little too long to foul. And we'll take it. In my opinion, the most impressive win of the season. 114-110 in Memphis. Ivica Zubac, my player of the game, his second ever 2020 game after that game against Indiana where I believe he had 31 and 29. I mean, I'm so happy for him, dude. He's been dominating. He's getting compliments from everywhere. I mean, he's been spectacular. What a win. 114-110. Let's read the lines for Memphis. We outscored them 23-20 in the fourth quarter, which I love. But let's talk about it. They went 10 deep. Brandon Clark only played 7 minutes, which I thought was interesting. He was 0 for 1 and had a donut, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Luke Kennard, our good old friend Nuke, he didn't look very comfortable out there, I can't lie. Turned the ball over and did not look confident. It was on a jump pass. By the way, the amount of jump pass turnovers in today's NBA, it's absolutely ridiculous. When we talk about poor fundamentals, that's fucking poor fundamentals. Everyone jump passes like crazy and gets turnovers left and right. It's insane. But anyway, Luke Kennard, good old Nuke, didn't even get a shot off, had a rebound and a turnover. Scottie Pippen Jr., he had a good game. He's been awesome this season. 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He's a typical good modern NBA player. He's starting to get really comfortable in pick and rolls, can score from 3 levels. I don't know about his one-on-one bag, but he's a better shooter from outside than his dad, that's for sure. But, I mean, as a player, he's much smaller. He's totally different. 13 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 turnover on 5 for 10 shooting, 3 for 4 from 3, and 0 for 1 from the foul line. He had a very solid game. Then you had Jake LaRavia. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover on 3 for 5 shooting and 2 for 3 from deep. It's funny. That guy Micah I was talking about, he used to grill LaRavia all the time last year. And I used to just joke, 'cause I didn't watch Grizzlies games last year because they were pathetic and injured. I was like, oh, Romeo Lavia, like from Chelsea. But he's been really good this year, honestly, knocking down open shots, playing with energy. Then you had Zach Edey, who started and played 27 minutes. And, I mean, besides rebounding, he kind of got lit up. 3 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers on 1 for 8 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep, no turnovers. So, I'm sorry, no free throw attempts. So he was, I mean, that's a poor shooting game. And the Grizzlies as a team, they only shot 38% from the field. They shot 38% from 3. So they shot well from 3, but from 2, nah. And they shot 69% from the line. We shot 44% from the field, but we shot worse from 3, 33%, 9 for 27. Man, less than 33s. It's kind of rare in today's NBA. 21 for 26 from the foul line. So we got the same amount of free throw attempts, and we made 3 more, and we won by 4. How about that? How many times, to be honest with you, after that game against Portland, we have been I feel like we've beaten teams because of making free throws and them missing. So interesting. That game against Portland really early in the season that we lost that Intuit Dome. But yeah, that's a big reason that the Grizzlies lost. We had the same amount of free throws. But it's funny. They were talking about Micah and my friend Malika Walker, who I don't know, has she made an appearance on Dime Dropper before? I don't know if Malika's made an appearance on Dime Dropper, but we do collab with like NBA history stuff. And they were saying that, we got a good whistle. And I noticed that, but also I'm watching the game with Clipper glasses on. But James Harden, I mean, he just gets the best whistle in NBA history to me. Like he throws his body into guys on threes. Like he is the foul baiting king. So, I mean, I just can't believe we have a guy that gets such a generous whistle on our team. Norman Powell, he also gets a very generous whistle. But after the years of seeing Blake Griffin literally they're trying to intentionally hurt him, it is what it is, right? I'm fine with it. But anyway, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. You got to give the defense credit. Resilient bunch. Let's see what else we got from Memphis. What else we got from Memphis? Santi, just go Jalen Wells. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 for 5 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 from the foul line. I thought he did a good job on Harden for the most part, but got torched towards the end of the game by good old James. And then you had Ja Morant, who only played 29 minutes. So I'm guessing he's still on like a little minutes restriction of some sort. 23 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 7 turnovers on 7 for 20 shooting, 35%, and 2 for 8 from 3. And honestly, this is one thing about Ja that I think, I don't even know if he's better than Harden, to be honest with you, because his jumper is so broke. He's got no pull-up. Like, teams go under screens on him, and he's actively said he's not going to try to dunk on guys as much. I don't know. But we'll reserve judgment on that Ja Harden stuff because Ja's still young and on the rise and Harden's on the decline. But, they're both very good players still. We'll take that defensive performance on Ja, though. Every time he shoots a 3, it's a win for the defense. Then you had Santi Aldama, who I think is a really solid NBA player. Can knock down threes. He's got great size, fundamentally sound, smart player. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 1 turnover on 4 for 9 shooting, 3 for 6 from deep, and 0 for 1 from the foul line. And that was the bench for them, 10 deep. And then you had Desmond Bane, who had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, but he turned the ball over 4 times, shot 7 for 15 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and 4 of 5 from the foul line. Jaren Jackson Jr., 24 points, led scoring for the Grizz, 6 boards, 3 assists, no blocks, no steals, 1 turnover on 9 for 26 shooting. Oh my God. Can't remember the last time I remember Jaren Jackson Jr. shooting that much. 1 for 7 from 3, 5 for 9 from the foul line. So he missed half their free throws. And then let's get to the good guys, the Clips, the winners in this one, 114 to 110. 9-man rotation for us. No Jordan Miller. Mo Bamba played 6 minutes, and he was a minus 14, team worst in those 6 minutes, was getting cooked by Jaren Jackson Jr. He had 0 points, 1 rebound, 3 blocks, and a turnover. 0 for 1. I'll take the 3 blocks. Shot 1 shot. It was a 3 and missed. And then we had Kevin Porter Jr., who played 20 minutes. He had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Did turn the ball over 3 times, but he did a little bit of everything. He shot 5 for 14 from the field, 1 for 3 from deep, made both of his free throws. Derrick Jones Jr. still on a minutes restriction, played 22 minutes, but he was damn good. 13 points, 2 boards, 2 steals, 1 block, doing it on both ends of the floor. 5 for 11 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, and made all 3 of his free throws. Amir Coffey, another fairly quiet game for the Brewmaster. Didn't do much. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 turnover on 1 for 5 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3, and made all 3 of his free throws. Chris Dunn, 7 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a turnover. Shot 33% from the field and 3 for 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from deep. But I thought he was really solid because of his defense. And, man, he's just been awesome defensively this entire season. Nico Batum, 28 minutes played, shot 2 threes and made them both. Those were all his shots. Had 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Did have 2 turnovers, but man, the way he just does a little bit of everything and just collectively helps your team's basketball IQ, that is amazing. And then the big 3. Let's begin with James, who played 36 minutes. He had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal. So a near triple-double, 4 turnovers on 6 for 16 shooting. 3 ball wasn't really falling, 1 for 6 from there. But his mid-range, his floater was looking pretty good. He was 5 for 10 from 2, 8 for 10 from the foul line. And our record of staying undefeated when James Harden shoots 10 or more free throws is still intact. So when he's getting the calls, when he's being aggressive, we get 10 plus free throws and we win the game. Great game from James overall. Great season from James overall through these first 30. I mean, where would we be without him? He's been the MVP of this team, and he definitely deserves to be on the All-Star team this year, I think. But then we have Ivica Zubac. Played 40 minutes to lead the way. Had the best plus-minus of anybody in the entire game on both teams with a plus 17. He had 20 points. Oh, wait. It says he had 19 rebounds. On ESPN, it says he had 19. Let's look at the NBA.com. Damn, 19. They must have taken away a rebound. Wow, that sucks. But anyway, 20 points, 19 rebounds, 9 of those offensive rebounds. So I actually think Zoo arguably is better at offensive rebounding than defensive rebounding, but whatever. 20 and 19, 1 assist, 4 steals and a block, 1 turnover on 10 for 18 shooting, 0 for 1 from the foul line. I mean, that's just beautiful. Zubac. Then Norm, what a game again for him. 29 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, holding his own defensively. He did have 4 turnovers, though. Shot 10 for 20 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, 5 for 7 from the foul line. I mean, the efficiency there, 50% from the field and 50 from 3. Amazing. We turned the ball over 17 times, but they turned the ball over 20 times, and we scored 31 points off their turnovers. We'll take the win, baby. 114 to 110. Anytime we beat the Teds, it's a great time, but we will absolutely take it. And now we're going to move on to the Lakers. All right, let's read the comments for a sec. I'll read some comments before we start with the Lakers.